The medical bay of the Zephyrian research vessel Quantum Dawn hummed with alien machinery, its crystalline walls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that served as both lighting and data displays. Dr. Kethvar adjusted his sensory appendages. As he observed the human specimen, no patient, strapped to the examination table. The human female, designation Sarah Chen, had been recovered from the wreckage of her exploration pod 3 rotations ago. Her injuries were extensive: fractured ribs, internal bleeding, severe burns across 40% of her skin, and what the humans called a concussion. By all Zephyrian medical standards, she should have expired within hours. Yet here she was, conscious and alert, making those peculiar facial contractions and producing rhythmic vocalization patterns that her species called laughter. "The pain inhibitors are functioning at minimal capacity," reported his assistant, Nurse Velthon, her voice carrying the worried harmonic undertones typical of their species when confronted with the incomprehensible. "Her neural pathways show extreme distress signals. Yet her behavioral patterns suggest amusement." Dr. Kethvar's primary eye cluster focused on the readouts. The human's pain receptors were firing constantly, indicating agony that would have rendered any Zephyrian catatonic. Their own species had evolved sophisticated pain avoidance mechanisms. At the first sign of serious injury, a Zephyrian would enter protective stasis until healing was complete. "Maybe," Sarah wheezed between chuckles, "you guys should try. Stand-up comedy, your bedside manner, could use some work." The translation matrix struggled with several of the concepts, but the meaning was clear enough. The human was making jest, while experiencing what their instruments registered as excruciating torment. "Human Chen," Dr. Kethvar spoke through the universal translator, his confusion evident in the rapid color shifts across his epidermis. "Our readings indicate you are experiencing severe physical distress, yet you exhibit behavior patterns associated with positive emotional states. This creates a logical paradox in our understanding." Sarah's laughter intensified, though it was punctuated by obvious winces. "Doc, you ever hear the one about the guy who went to the doctor and said, 'Doctor, it hurts when I do this'?" She attempted to move her arm and immediately regretted it. "And the doctor said, 'Then don't do that.'" Velthon's tentacles recoiled in shock. "She deliberately induced additional pain for the purpose of humor synthesis." The observation deck above the medical bay filled with curious Zephyrian researchers. Word had spread throughout the ship about the paradoxical human behavior. Dr. Zalmir, the expedition's chief behavioral analyst, descended to join the examination. "I've been studying the human cultural database," Zalmir announced, her communication organs fluttering with academic excitement. "This laughter response to pain appears to be a uniquely human adaptation. They call it gallows humor, or whistling past the graveyard." "But why?" Dr. Kethvar demanded. "What evolutionary advantage could possibly come from experiencing amusement during physical trauma?" Sarah had been listening to their conversation through the translator. With considerable effort, she turned her head toward them. "You really want to know? It's because pain is just information. It tells you something's wrong. But after that?" She shrugged as much as her injuries allowed. "What's the point of letting it control you?" The Zephyrians exchanged rapid color communications, their equivalent of frantic whispering. "When I was 8, Sarah continued, her voice growing stronger despite the obvious discomfort, "I fell off my bike and scraped up my knees pretty bad. My dad found me sitting there crying. You know what he said? He said, "Sarah, pain is temporary, but the story you tell about surviving it, that lasts forever." She paused, gathering strength. "Right now, I'm creating one hell of a story." Dr. Kethvar approached the examination table with newfound respect. "You are suggesting that your species has evolved to find meaning in suffering?" "Not meaning in suffering," Sarah corrected. "Meaning in spite of suffering. There's a difference." Another small laugh escaped her. "Besides, you guys are so serious all the time. When's the last time any of you cracked a smile? Our species does not possess the facial musculature for—" "It's an expression, Doc. When's the last time you found something funny?" The question hung in the air like an alien concept, which Dr. Kethvar realized it literally was. Their entire civilization had been built around the avoidance of discomfort, the elimination of pain, the pursuit of perfect harmony. They had created paradise, but in doing so, they had perhaps lost something essential. "There's this philosopher from my world," Sarah said, her voice growing thoughtful. "Viktor Frankl. He survived the worst things humans can do to each other. And he said that everything can be taken from a person but one thing: the freedom to choose one's attitude in any given circumstances." The medical bay fell silent except for the ambient hum of machinery. "You're saying," Velthon ventured, "that your species chooses to laugh in the face of adversity?" "Not all of us," Sarah admitted. "But the best of us? Yeah. We choose joy over despair, hope over fear, laughter over tears. Not because it's easy, but because it's human." Dr. Zalmir's analytical organs quivered with excitement. "This explains their rapid technological advancement, their willingness to explore dangerous territories, their recovery rates from traumatic events. They've weaponized optimism." "Weaponized?" Sarah chuckled again. "I guess you could put it that way. Though, I prefer to think of it as survival through stubbornness." As the medical team worked to stabilize her injuries, Sarah continued to share stories, jokes, and observations that left the Zephyrian crew both bewildered and oddly inspired. They had encountered hundreds of species in their travels through the galaxy, but none quite like this. Hours later, as Sarah finally drifted into natural sleep, still with the ghost of a smile on her lips, Dr. Kethvar filed his report. For the first time in his career, he found himself struggling to maintain proper scientific objectivity. The humans, he concluded, were not just another species. They were a reminder that sometimes the most profound strength comes not from avoiding pain, but from dancing with it. And in the darkest corners of space, that kind of strength might be exactly what the galaxy needed.